Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to the as of yet award-winning That 6 Plus 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 show. I'm your host Chris because Tom is off in beautiful Vienna representing his country, looking to do us all proud. And we are very excited to be cheering him on in the next few days. As such, it's left to a merry band of fellows to talk about something at the weekend, which was far more exciting and important, namely the International Team Tournament Summer Edition. So the plan for this is a tournament report. Everyone loves a tournament report. In fact, genuinely do. They're some of our most listened to podcasts. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this one as we tell a tale of triumph, defeat, death guard. We're going to talk about it all, guys. The focus being more on our takeaways in terms of things we would improve upon as a team, maybe as individuals, kind of the shape of the meta in terms of teams at the moment. That's more the focus. We each are going to be producing our own videos on our own kind of run. So this isn't necessarily a really in-depth breakdown of our games, thankfully. But overall, it should be one which is both entertaining, because, well, you'll find out, and but also informative. And of course, I am joined by two absolute heroes. So let's meet the team of tonight. Let's start with, well, the current favourite of the fans, Mr. Harley. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you after
I'm good.
the weekend?
I can just about sit down now,
Yeah,
so that's good. Looking pretty in pink. Have you recovered from your weekend?
yeah, man. Yesterday at work, I was just like dead. I don't know. I was just like zoned out for the whole day, and I was just
It's what Lee said about his day as well. It's like it takes so much out of you, doesn't it? Because you're thinking about your own game, you're thinking about the team as well. Teams events are definitely more tiring. You're looking pretty in pink as well.
yeah. The new shirt is very nice.
It,
It looked very good
bang.
the weekend. Stood out. Everyone sort of
There's
liked
nothing
it.
quite like yours there. You're like, oh, where's the rest of our team? Look across and just like, yes,
It's
right,
very easy to spot our players, which is good.
yeah.
It stood out. I like it quite a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, we've got a question about it later, so it should be good. And then also, Mr. Trash War Gaming, the most important and star player of Trash War Gaming, just so happened to represent the even better 6 Plus Plus this weekend. And he got the pink shirt and everything, and he looked so beautiful. He also did quite well, which we will hear about. How the devil are you, Ben?
I'm good. I'm good. So I had this week off work. It's great. I rotted all day yesterday.
That's the dream.
I woke up at like 10 and I went downstairs, hit the sofa, and I think I moved for 4 hours. I was like, I don't understand how I'm so dead.
Yeah.
Um, but it was a pretty tiring weekend, but it
It's
was a
just all
lot of
about
fun.
winning you're doing, really.
It was just so much winning. It took it.
It's so much fun.
I reached above those 3 wins and it hurt my head a little bit. I can't
It's
lie.
yeah. I wouldn't know anything about that, but I too was quite sapped yesterday. And yeah, I just sat there, and I think my partner probably knew because she was all around doing all her own thing. We're both teachers, so we're off. And yeah, I was just like feeling sorry for myself and all that jazz. But anyway, let's just dive over to the chat because I bet it's kicking off. Good old Martin, hello Sir Hubris, Dominic, my current recent coaching client, who's destroying everyone on nights. So good lad, Dom.
Cool.
Jerry, hello Sir. Josh Callard, can't wait to hear about Canis Rex. Excellent,
Oh
Mr. Josh.
God.
We did get to play Josh, so he's be listening in to hear our opinions on that game. And Unstable Llama says, great to see you guys there. Really standing out. Yeah, hopefully our shirts are still burned into everyone's retina.
It's just
And hello, Brutish Card too. So let us know what you're up to in the chat. If you did come and talk to us, or if you played against us, let us know how much you hated playing Harley, all that sort of stuff. Let's create some real clickbait rage going on. Get some drama going. That's what we're all about here at 6 Plus Plus. So before we dive in, though, bit of promotion. We're doing some videos. Ben, you got a video coming out tomorrow, which I need to do after this, so that's very
Yes, we
exciting.
do. We do.
What is that going to be about?
So this week we are diving into Drukhari allies. Spoiler alert, they're not great. But we do a bit of a deep unit dive into all of the Drukhari allies that are available, and where you might fit them in, what sort of roles they might take within a Drukhari list. I'm quite excited about that one, actually. I get to talk a lot about Harlequins, so as you can imagine, it's my love.
Yes, absolutely. We all do love the Harlequins. Excellent. And obviously, as we've alluded to, WTC World Team Championships is coming up. We're big fans of World Team Championships because we love teams. And obviously, we've got a few representatives going. So we've got some content about that. I will be doing minute little shorts after each round, just filling you guys in on all the good stuff. How Tom's got on for England, how Scrivo's got on with Wales, how Chris has got on with Scotland, and how Ed is getting on with United Nations. And then also any of the big interesting stories going on, and just teasing that out. I know lots of countries do have streams going. The main one for us, I guess, in theory, is War Games Live, and they're already streaming War Masters. So keep an eye out on that. We've got our very own Ed Watts playing in that, and he is 3-0 at the moment at the hardest tournament in the world. So that's not bad from Edward. And he's having a grand old time. Tom, Scrivo, Chris I don't know about Chris actually, but Tom and Scrivo having a bit more of a chilled time. So yeah, other than that, it's all just ticking along smoothly. We've got our event coming up at the end of August, which should be good fun. I think there might be 1 or 2 tickets, just trying to finalise that available. So watch this space, because that event did sell out in 3 hours. So I'm sure there are some people interested in going. Harley, are you going to that event?
I am indeed. I am cooking up some lists.
Cooking up / stealing. Yeah, sure.
Depending what is in play, if the new Grey Knights are out, maybe I will use them. Maybe some form of guard without Canis. Fuck that dude. Potentially. Nah, not Admech. Don't fill them guys. Yeah, probably Eldar or Grey Knights. Prob's not guard. I feel like I've played enough of that for now. I want to move on to some other things for a little bit now. So yeah, I think Eldar or Grey Knights, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to the event. WTC terrain is always good. And the first GT we had was a really good one as well. So I am really excited to sort of go to that GT again.
Yeah, it'll be good fun. We're just buying even more prizes this time. Like, the price support is insane this time. Shout out to Terrain Forge for providing a lot of it, but we've got a few extra little fun things, fun goodies going on. Ben, are you attending?
I am attending.
Oh, are you? That's convenient, isn't it?
It was very convenient. I need to bring my tiara with me, right, to represent my best
yeah,
overall last
I think
time.
that should be a thing. I will exclusively reveal best overall last time. Ben, weren't you? You got a tiara. Not gonna lie, Ben, that's quite a cheap tiara. This tiara this time is a genuine, proper good tiara, custom made as well. So best overall will be wearing actually a proper tiara rather than your £10 down the shop one. So very exciting.
Try harder.
But also breaking news: Jack Tite has just bought one of the spare tickets. So Jack Tite is attending. Very exciting. I will have to dig out the Conqueror of the Tite certificate again. I had removed that from my list, and we'll see if anyone can this time beat Jack. He won't be having Mordaka to help him through, and he probably will be playing something a bit more fun, having just slaved away at WTC. But who knows?
Who let him in? Who let him in?
Some scrub.
Why?
But yeah, that's about the self-promotion. As always, please like the video, give it a comment afterwards, especially the guy that likes to tell everyone when the main content starts. Yeah, we have membership options, we have members only videos, we have coaching, we have all the good stuff. So we've got a website, go check it out, 6++gaming.com. Easy stuff. And yeah, but other than that, I think it's time for us to dive in. So let's set the scene. It is the International Team Tournament, which makes it sound like a unique one-off event. It is not. There are 4 of them. They're all based around the seasons. This was the summer one, the final one of the season, so to speak. Alfarius was sitting in 4th place in the entire country at the start of this event. And then there was a sub-story between Legion and Omegon. in which Legion were currently, who were in theory our third team, were in fact ahead of Omegon. And so we were looking to see who would claim the rightful heir to be second team next season. Very exciting. As always, Alpharis went with the hope of potentially winning. We've been there or thereabouts in the last, or for the whole season, really. We've got quite often gone to the final game with a shot at making the final. So that was our goal again. And that will be the framing for us. Omegon, strong team, historically very unlucky with their pairings. So would they finally break their curse? Legion had a bit of a duff run in the last one or two, but they were strong, and they had the heroic Ben to come and pull them through. So would they get the best result now that we had Ben with us? Well, we will find out.
Yeah.
So, Ben, preparation in 30 seconds or so. How was preparation for Legion?
Preparation was mainly getting to know each other, to be honest. Well, mainly from my point of view, getting to know a lot of the boys. We had Joe, Steve, Patrick, and Jack.
Yep.
Jack being our captain. So a lot of it was getting to know each other. We'd got a very rudimentary matrix on the go, filled in all our scores, our predictions, and then that was about it. A lot of shit chat, to be honest. We got our first pairing, and yeah, we felt okay into that. We had a bit of a plan going into it. I'm not sure it was the right plan looking back now, but we had a plan. There was a plan.
So very quickly, what armies did you take?
So we took myself on Drakari, Jack Asher on his Death Guard, Steve on Chaos Knights, Patrick on Dark Angels, and Joe on the Renegade Raiders.
Okay, so that's quite a nice mix there.
It was a solid mix there.
Got a good group there. And your first round was into flat caps and flat cannons. We've got Mark Pocock on Chaos Knights, Christian Place on Blood Angels, Adam Battle on Tyranids, Nathaniel Sibley on World Eaters, and Steve Boothroyd on Sisters. So before you started playing your games, you had your pairings.
Yep.
How did you guys feel after your pairings?
I think we felt that we'd got the right pairings. It wasn't until the round developed that actually I think we misunderstood some of the matchups and some of what was in there and some of how they played, and some of those results rolled in. We're a bit like, ooh, maybe we didn't quite get the pairings as well as we thought. I think with our understanding of the lists beforehand, they were right. But when we actually further understood what the list did, and it was revealed that actually the new Raveners do like punching tanks and knights to death, that we were like, oh, maybe that was bad. Maybe we got this matchup all wrong. So we felt confident initially. Good,
yeah. No, actually, I'll be able to refer to that because that was very something that was relevant to me as well over the weekend. Was you might think about something, you think it's okay, and then when you actually play the matchup for the first time, you kind of realise the specifics of how damage profiles go into each other and that sort of thing, and you're like, oh, actually, this is actually not very good for me at all. Okay, so talk us very quickly through your game. You played into the Blood Angels.
I did. So we wanted to get me into the Knights. Shock horror. They didn't like the look of all that haywire.
That's weird.
Which then pushes me into a slightly different matchup that is also good for me, but it doesn't look like it on paper. So I got the Blood Angels. Now I can't remember the guy's name, but he was lovely. He was a really nice guy. But what he did is he kept Christian. That was it. He kept feeding me one unit at a time, and it was exactly how I wanted it to play. So I think come about turn 4, the poor guy was tabled, and I ended up with quite a big win there. He was extremely shocked that 4 Talos could delete a whole unit of Death Company, but -1 damage when you damage 3.
It's not one.
It doesn't really matter.
That's mathematics right there. Absolutely, yeah. Well, did he have big bricks of Blood Angels?
He did. He had 2 Death Company bricks, 3 Sangard bricks. He had Dante, Mephiston, Lancer, a Gladiator Lancer, randomly, which was brilliant because it meant my Scourge had something to shoot at some point.
Yeah, got to keep him busy.
Keep him busy. Some JPIs and standard other idiot stuff that you see in Marines lists.
Yeah, so it's designed to be nice, basically. Big bricks to go and punch knights to death, and he's got into an army which is just going to outtrade him, really.
Yeah, exactly. And he couldn't deal with the fights first, fights on death, and was like, "Oh, this was bad for me." Actually, I was like, "Yes, it was."
Excellent. So, in terms of the rounds, was there any like stories that kind of went across as it went on, or was it just, this isn't going well, guys?
Yeah, it was more of a this wasn't going well. So we had Jack into the Chaos Knights, and I think it was fairly drawish. I think he ended up with a small win out of that one. So good on him. And that seemed to be the story for the weekend. He'd get a lot of chaos or bad matchups like that, and he'd just get his small wins out with his Death Guard. Poor Steve, who thought he knew Tyranids, hadn't quite worked out the Invasion Fleet Raveners into his Chaos Knight. Chaos Knights was bad. We thought the Triple T-Fex was a little bit bad, but we're like, well, it's fine. Steve knows Nids; he could deal with this. And then when he got
We
to
believe in you, Steve.
like, Steve, you've got this, mate. You know Nids. And he very quickly let us know he did not, in fact, have this, and it had all gone wrong very quickly. And then Joe into the sisters had a bit of a rough time of it. I think again it was Hallowed Martyrs with the big Sacrosanct bricks, Alice Rex and some Valgons, and I don't think any of us had quite appreciated their fight phase control. And he also the funny thing was afterwards, I think after the game he spoke to Ed. He was like, "A castigator shouldn't kill a rhino, right?" And we were like, "Oh, I think a castigator should kill a rhino most of the time." He was like, "Oh, I misunderstood that." I was like, "Yeah,
yeah, you did.
yeah, you did."
Yeah, so that ended up 67-33 loss.
Yeah.
Jack won 11-9 into CK. Ben, you won 16-4. Steve lost 20-0. Nathaniel beat Patrick 15-5. Joe lost 19-1. So yeah, few wins, few losses, but the losses were just a bit too big for you guys.
Exactly.
Absolutely, we've all been there. So not the ideal start, but first game is out of the way. You played into a pretty good team. It is what it is. Cool. Omegon, they drew classically into a tough matchup. They drew into Crow Team 6, which is Black Crow Gaming's first team. Very strong team. They went on to do really well. They had Mr. Paul Bridge on Death Guard. They had Darren Chapman, very strong Dakari player. Toby Bennett, obviously number one Dark Angels player at the moment. Sam Dickinson, I think number one World Eaters player. Ditz on Necrons. So yeah, really strong team. And in terms of pairings, Paul with his Space Wolves went into Death Guard for the first of 3 times this weekend, I think, and lost 9-11. Davey on his World Eaters lost 5-15 to the Drakari. Jack on his Death Guard, which was like loads of Terminators, like the Terminator detachment. Crazy. Jack took something odd. Who knew? He lost 6-14 to the Dark Angels. Connor lost 18-2 into the World Eaters, so that's obviously not ideal.
That's a bad matchup for
your Necron block.
Brick. Yeah. It just gets deleted.
The whole point of the Necrons, right, is it plays into lists that
can't one-shot
it.
Yeah.
And then Tom lost 8-12 into the Necrons. So they did all lose, and the final score was 70-30. Now, over in our Forest Land, how would you describe preparation for this event, Harley?
Chaotic. A bit up and down. We was a bit unsettled on the factions due to how the current meta was shaping up with sort of Death Guard Knights. We felt like we needed some answers for it. So we obviously thought Eldar was a good option. So we put Ed on Eldar as it's quite aggressive and it suits his playstyle. I went for the solid steady guard. I tried to be clever and put Canis Rex in, and you'll find.
And at what point in our 2-month build-up process did you decide to put Canis Rex in your list?
Sunday at 11 o'clock.
Yep. So Harley's just come back from a WTC style event, smashed it, feeling good. And he's like, this list doesn't actually work on UKTC, guys. I just put Canis in. And so that was decision made an hour before.
Yeah.
And Lee was on Chaos Cults, which was a decision made, I think, on the Sunday based on the fact that Chaos Cults had done really well. Ed, as we said on the last show, went through something like 27 different army options before ending up on Eldar. We had Adam, who'd always been on Drakari. There was a moment where he might have been on Emperor's Children, but we settled for Drakari. And then for me, it was quite awkward trying to work out what to take. Grey Knights aren't exactly in a great spot at the moment. I was feeling confident after the last event because I did really well at the Inari, but obviously Inari off the table, and I didn't have time to put in reps to be able to play Eldari, who are quite a knife edge army. I wouldn't have been that comfortable and confident. It's like, well, the big armies we're worried about are Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, and Death Guard. We don't have any players who take that, so I was like, well, I could just take the Death Guard because I was at that time I was probably going to be taking Blood Angels, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's really easy to play. You'll be absolutely fine." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So about a week before the event, I'm like looking through lists. The WTC list came up, and I was like, "Oh, I see USA and Scotland have taken a Knight Despoiler. That's cool. Let's look at the profile on that." And this thing is like at rapid fire range is 4d6 plus 12 shots blast. Strength 10, -1/3 damage. Now, with Morty's Hammer, you pick units, you can make them in contagion range, you can make them -2, and their toughness goes down one as well. Like, this thing is like amazing. Like, oh, what a gun on UKTC shooting boards. Great. I'll
So
plug
good.
that in. So, I did exactly what we would obviously always tell you not to do, which is I just took a list which I'd never played before, had no idea how it operated, and didn't really practice with it at all. I managed to get one practice game against another human being in on the Friday before, which was Sam's Blood Angels. I had a good hour chat with Ed in terms of like deployment plan, which I stuck to the entire weekend, and then proceeded to not do the right thing afterwards, which was probably a bit of a mistake, but I'll explain why in a bit. So round one. So we've got a composition. So we've got Ed, who, as long as we pair right, will probably win big in every game. We've got Lee on Chaos Colts, who can win big regularly. We've got Adam, who's going to be a bit of a pairings princess. We've got Harley, who's going to be getting 10 turns. And then we've got myself, who should be getting small wins. So we'll see how that pans out. Round one, we drew into Carnage B team. Now, Carnage went on to win, A team went on to win the entire event. Okay, so their B team was extremely well equipped, and they were a really good team. I think we all had a fun time. I wasn't really aware of what was going on elsewhere. I was too busy panicking. So, in terms of pairings, I think I went down first defender, and I was playing into Space Marines with a few tanks. Harley was playing into World Eaters. Adam was playing into Tau with lots of suits. Ed was playing into Grey Knights, and Lee was playing into Imperial Knights. We felt our matrix was pretty good. We felt pretty comfortable and confident after pairings. Harley, how was your World Eaters experience?
I hadn't played against the new book, and it was also my first game with Canis and my first game on the UKTC. So three different things in one. And I think looking back at it, I would probably say I'm not the biggest fan of flat 8 blood surges. That's pretty brutal. I'm also not a fan of Forge Fiends, that one hit Krieg bricks, pretty much, with rapid fire, triple blast, rerolls. Yeah, I started playing this game and I was like, oh, World Eaters used to be okay for me. This doesn't feel good. And when I started getting tagged, I was like, ugh. I was like, maybe me. So I put Canis in the middle to try bait him in. He took the bait. He went for him. Put him down to 6 wounds. Canis then smacked back this Berserker squad, killed like 8, and I was pretty happy with that. But bar that the weekend, Canis had his best performance in this game. I had Bring It Down, marked for death, and he had a Demon Prince in the middle. I shot it with a Rogel Dawn, done nothing. Basically, I put the melters into it because it was in combat and it was on like 6 wounds, so I missed every hit, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to get marked for death or assassinate. And then I've got Canis in combat on 6 wounds with the Demon Prince, but I'm like, this Demon Prince is damage free, sustained lethal. It's going to fight Canis first. It's just going to kill him. It did kill Canis. Canis then decided to explode and roll a 6 on the damage to the Demon Prince. So he decided to kill the Demon Prince, get me Bring It Down and assassinate, and then let my Rogel Dawn pile onto the objective and deny primary. Getting, I believe, 5, 10, 15, 15 points. So a free differential point. And if I'm correct, the round was 58 to 42.
Yeah.
So I think Canis actually won us the round by exploding.
Yeah, I mean, 55 is a win, as we will
Is it?
discover later on in
Yes.
round 4. We will bring that up. But yeah, no. Yeah, so I think within about 10 minutes, we knew Ed was going to get a 20-0 because he'd gone first and stuck his entire army on outside inside the Grey Knights deployment zone, and was just annihilating everything. Harley, as we said, got a 10-10. Adam felt pretty comfortable with the town matchup and managed to get a 16-4. Lee was beating up some knights, but challenger cards were being quite annoying, and he got a 12-8. Over in Death Guard land, as I said, I'm going to be doing my own video on this, which again probably won't go into too much detail on the games because the games themselves aren't particularly relevant. For me, I stuck to my deployment plan. And for me, it was about, right, I want to try and bring out his vehicles. You know, he had a couple of land speeders, he had a repulsor executioner with some blade guard, he had a few lancer and reaper and stuff like that. I want to try and tempt him out. So I kind of deployed with my Phytic Blight Hauler out in the open. I scouted forward some spawn. And I was like, he went first. So I was like, oh, I wonder if he'll take the bait. Well, it's not really bait when he just decides to send his entire army out into the open at you. I had misdeployed a bloat drone slightly out as well. So he had 3 targets, which he took out all 3 targets. But I was like, okay, I think it's okay because I can pick up the land speeder, I'll pick up the repulsor executioner, I'll pick up the JPI, which are just sat out in the open. He can't bring his blade guard out of the repulsor forward because otherwise I'll just shoot them. So with my bloat drones, so I'll do a bit of a move block with the
Poxwalkers.
Poxwalkers, that's the one. But I'll terraform in the middle, but it'll all be fine. It wasn't fine. It turns out that the maths on a knight killing a repulsor is pretty much non-existent, especially through smoke and armor of contempt, which I totally forgotten about. And I did 6 wounds to it. And then he proceeded to get out the blade guard straight out in the open, walk around my move block, and charge my knight and bloat drones on my home field objective.
Oof.
At which point I'm like, this seems a bit of a problem, but it's okay. Again, I then lose another blow drone. I'm like, okay, right, well, you know what? If I just I'll kill the repulsor this turn. And you know what? Like, Calgar's brick sat in the middle, so I'll deep strike down the Death Shroud. They charge in, kill Calgar's brick in the middle. I pick up these blade guard vets with some shooting, and the repulsor's dead. And you know what? I'm still fine. The knight did even less damage to the repulsor this time. Frame of reference: first time he shot, he got 31 shots and caused 4 wounds. This time he caused 29 shots and only managed to get through 3 wounds, which all the saves were made. So he did literally nothing. I'm like, oh, this is going badly. Then the Death Shroud failed their charge. Right, CP reroll that. Oh, they failed that again. And now I'm sat there like, oh, this is going really badly. Turn 3, I have another Hail Mary. I'm split firing with the cannons, like trying to pick up these tanks and stuff. And it didn't work as well. Then I failed a 3-inch charge with a tank to try and mortal wound something off the table. I had to CP reroll that. It was just a bit of a disaster as my score plummeted. My army died. Finally, the knight did do something. It did finally kill 2 units. It did that by exploding because when it died, I finished off the Blade Guard squad and a Land Speeder. That was the only units it killed in that game. So well done, Mr. Knight. And I got absolutely spanked 20-0. So that felt good. I felt really comfortable and confident after that game. Thankfully, I didn't cost us the round. But it was a bit of a, I haven't rolled dice in person since the last ITT. And this was going to be a problem the entire event that I faced. He was like, yeah, I played into the Carnage A-Team Death Guard player a lot, and I've just learned you've got to full send it. And he played the matchup a lot. He knew you had to just push it, otherwise you lose the attrition game to the PBCs. And I just wasn't at all as prepared to play into people who've played against my army. And I was playing each matchup for the first time. They were playing this matchup for like the 3rd, 4th time. And that is actually a really powerful thing. And I and the team had probably underestimated that element of it as well. So yeah, we won 58-42. Carnage B went on to do really well. So shout out to them for doing so well as a B team. But we got the win. So round 2, Legion, not the best start. You then get redacted, or also
Yes.
known as redacted B
B
team.
team. Yes, we did. There's another one. I think we looked at their comp and thought, this is okay. Matrix says this is probably fine. No problems here. If we pair this right, we should be fine. They've got Tau in there. And then we start to remember. It's Purge the Foe. I was like, right, lads, just drop my Matrix 2 everywhere now. It's all gone wrong. I'm sorry. I'm a silly elf player. It's all going bad. But yeah, no, as I say, I don't think we didn't think this was too bad of a round for us going in.
Yep.
I know some strong players on there. I think they got JP on 1,000 Suns. We got Ben Piddington on his Chaos Knights.
Yep.
I think we had Wayne on Tau.
Yep. George on Death Guard and Connor on Imperial Knights.
Yes, that was the one. Yeah, so we had double knights here. I was salivating at this prospect. I was like, I know it's Purge, but I might be able to get to do what I've designed my list to do here. I did not.
They avoid you again.
They avoid me once again, which is probably going to be a theme of the whole event, as you can all imagine. But what I do get is I get the Tau here, which is okay actually. That was fine. I'm not sure how I got the Tau, but I'll take it. And that went very badly for him very quickly. I think we had Steve into their Death Guard for his first matchup against them of the weekend, and it was Morty's Hammer. He was on the table next to me. I very quickly looked over, and turn 2, he has 2 units of Death Shroud on his home objective. I was like, Steve, what's gone on here? Like, well, apparently when you have 7 models, you can't screen out 6 inches everywhere.
It is quite tricky, I imagine.
Yeah, I imagine that it looked difficult. I feel like Patrick fell on some sort of sword again and took a horrible matchup no one else wanted. We had Jack again into the Chaos Knights, and Joe, I wasn't sure what he was into, to be quite honest with you.
Joe paid in 2,000 Suns.
1,000, yes, he did. Yes, and he was fairly confident with that. And I think we were expecting about 10 out of him, and I think
That's what he got.
That's what he got. There we go. He predicted well.
He delivered on his Matrix.
He did deliver there.
I suspect not everyone did, though.
No. So I think poor Steve got not quite 20'd.
So Steve lost 17-3.
Yeah.
Jack on his Death Guard lost 13-7.
Yeah.
Patrick, Dark Angels versus Imperial Knights, he lost 14-6, which I think is I
think that's fairly commendable there.
That's a great job.
That is a solid.
And you, Ben, the lone hero, repping Trash Wargaming so beautifully, won 13-7 into the town.
I did. It was his turn 2, and he went, I'm just going to put 3 Riptides in the middle here. And I was like, are you sure about that? He's like, yep, this is absolutely the play. I was like, well,
do you know Mr. Haywire?
I'm like, okay, cool, fine. I'm deep strike both my Scourge in now. Oh look, they're all dead. And that was
bye bye.
That was the game from there, really.
4-up invuns aren't useful when you can't use them.
I was like, sure, you do that. I'm not going to convince you otherwise.
Yeah. So that finished 61-39 loss.
Yeah.
But hey, not the end of the world.
It was okay, and I think they had a team of good players there.
Exactly, and we find this, don't we? Like, you go back, I don't know, 2-3 years on UKTC events and compare it to now. Like, the standard is insane. Like, the majority of players that go there are more than capable of going 3-2, or on a good day, like even 4-1. Like, the standard is so high.
So much higher now.
Events now.
The first
especially in teams
events I've done, like, no one Matrix, but every team now is prep. They have a Matrix. They've done some form of prep. They know what each player's role is. Like, the standard is very high. You used to be able to go to, like, teams events, beat 3 chums, and then, like, just draw their decent players and your round win. But, like, everyone now knows, like, their role, what they're doing. It's a lot harder now.
Yeah,
it's become so much more popular there around, right? Teams. It's just everyone wants to play teams now, and it is fun. It is a lot of fun.
It's the best way to play.
100%. Omegon looking to bounce back, played into Hobby Henchman 5. And it went a lot better this time, I'm pleased to say. They all won their games. So Paul Space Wolves beat Chaos Demons 12-8. Connor beat Blood Angels with his Necron 16-4. Tom beat World Eaters 19-1 with his sisters. Davey got off the mark. World Eaters versus Orcs. He won 17-3. And Jack with his Death Guard into Thousand Suns into Harry 5-0 Cowdrey. Nice. Well, he didn't go 5-0 this time because Jack beat him 17-3. And the team won 81-19.
Go on.
Huge victory there. Alfarius got to play on stream. Very exciting. We got Ed had been interviewed already. I was interviewed as team captain. We're on. So for those who don't know, UKTC TV. Nice, lovely. The name just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
That is now a ever-growing YouTube channel where all of the events are going to be live streamed. You might recognize one of the main commentators at LGT if you listen very carefully. More information on that soon. But it was it's very professionally done, very nice setup, and we got to play on that. And I was like, well, I don't really know my army, and I'm not exactly high on confidence, so I really don't want to be on stream. To which I was told, you are going to be on stream. So I had to play on stream. The UKTC's rule is that by signing up to go to an event, you agree to play on stream. And in a Teams event, if you say, no, I'm not playing on stream, you lose 20-0.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I think they might want to rethink, just because I know some teachers, there are some teachers who refuse, who are not allowed to play on stream because of their work or because of whatever. And I feel like that's a bit of a harsh penalty, really. So that's probably all that should be re-looked at. Zach, if you're watching, as it was, I was like, fine, I'll do it. In terms of pairings, again, they worked very well. We're playing into Vanguardians of the Galaxy, a team we have played before. Good bunch of lads. Most notable for me because of Chris, listener of the show, who probably 2 years ago was the first guy to come up to me and say, I just really like your show because you guys are just so relatable. And that became kind of our inspiration for being the relatable, bang average guys. So shout out to Chris, who I actually got to play. So the way the pairings went, I paired into Chris's Tyranids, which was slightly worrying because he had just beaten Death Guard 18-2, and I just lost 20-0, so I wasn't feeling that confident. Adam's Drakari played into CSM, into the Cult build, and he was also going to be on stream. Ed played into Leagues of Votan. Harley played into Custodes, and Lee, with his CSM, played into Imperial Knights again. Harley, how was your Custodes experience?
I feel like Custodes is normally pretty decent for guard. It's sort of just screen and shoot. So I played my game as normal. The guy was a really nice opponent. We had quite a chilled game. Canis took a punt to try wrap round the small L at the top left to see into his L and shoot some wardens. I done it, and then he ingressed the unit 9 away from Canis, which I expected. But it meant he popped both Feel No Pains on his wardens, because if he'd done it on one, I would have shot the other unit. So he had to pop it on both. I killed 0 wardens in shooting with Canis. Canis got charged, survived from the wardens. Done, I think on my roll, I done 12 wounds to him with Canis, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna wipe a warden squad. It's got no Feel No Pain. He failed 1-4 up, and I was like, oh no.
So you both got super lucky. Basically.
Yes, exactly. And then after that, a Rogel Dawn said, move out my way, Canis, and one-shot the Warden squad. So the Rogel Dawns done what Rogel Dawns do and sort of shut up Canis in that game and sort of showed them who is boss.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how it went. I made a 9-inch charge onto his home field with some Catachans, like heroes.
Feels good.
But being Purge against Custodes, it was quite hard to push the score with Challenger cards and Purge, so I couldn't really push it too much. I think it might have been a 12-8 or a 13-7 in the end. I just couldn't push the score. Board state was good, control of the game was good. I just couldn't really get a foot on the score just due to being on Purge and just being quite easy to keep getting 4 on the primary and then 4 for kill 1 and then kill more, because I have 1,000 units really and he has about 2. So but yeah, I feel like this round was good. We paired well. Everyone sort of had their sort of roles ready for this round. The only one we was a little bit worried about was obviously the Tyranids into the Death Guard, as you said, because before he had kicked some Death Guard players in. And we was a little bit worried if the Death Guard list could kill the Nids, but you ended up doing well in that matchup. So
Yeah,
well,
being on stream is quite an interesting one. My first time on stream, you kind of do just forget it. You're on stream. That's what I found. You just get into the headspace of playing. Obviously, my main concern is like I've played 2 games with this army. Am I going to get my rules wrong and that sort of thing? It's quite annoying because I was on the premium stream, which you can still get hold of. But the free stream, they've enabled chat replay, so you could watch and see what people were saying as the game was going on. But they haven't on my game, so I can't see if people are just like slating me or whatever. But anyway, I was very lucky in as much as I got to go second. And Chris had a lot of shooty bugs. And what this led to was a bit of a stalemate where he was scared of my shooting. I was worried about his. And so it's like, well, neither of us want to stick our guns out because one of us will get shot first. So who has the advantage? Well, shockingly, it's a player with 3 Playburst crawlers going second on Purge. And I just kind of took a step back from it and was like, right, just focus on playing the numbers. Always make sure you're holding. How many things have they killed? Right. Get one more kill than that. Give away the minimum amount of units. Don't get gung-ho. Don't get too excited. Just play the points. Challenger cards meant Chris was able to keep it reasonably close. And I just didn't want to ever take my foot off the pedal. He had a whiffer of a turn 3, which kind of cemented the win. But yeah, the knight just noodled in a corner and picked things off, or well, failed to pick things off. Meanwhile, the PPCs won me the game. I won 14-6, so that was quite nice. Chris was a lovely opponent. Adam on stream went huge, 19-1, an absolute legend. Ed destroyed half of the Votan army by going first. Absolutely horrendous. We think he killed something like 1,000 points. He went first and killed 1,000 points. Guys, we can't I over egg this enough. Eldar in the right build with the right player on UKTC maps, if they get first drop and can position their rangers and stuff in the right place, and then get first turn, will have half their army in your deployment zone, annihilating you turn 1 if you have made a mistake with your deployment. It will happen. You have to be prepared for that.
He killed 2 land forts and a Sagittar with Fugan's unit being in the middle L, turn 1.
It's disgusting.
It is horrendous. So genuinely, guys, if you want to go to a UKTC event or terrain event, you need to have a plan for Eldar if one of the top players going to your event is on Eldar. Okay, just genuinely, it is a big takeaway for us. Harley won 12-8, as we mentioned, and Lee beat Knights 13-7. So we were 2-0. I was feeling better about myself. The team was feeling better about themselves. They probably say it's slightly less worried about my inability at this point, hopefully. And then we go on to round 3. So Legion, round 3, you draw into the cohort of ignorance. So you've not had the best 2 rounds. So what was the vibe going?
We were okay. A little bit low on confidence, I think. I think particularly Steve and Patrick. I think they've both took some really bad losses so far. Steve more so. We couldn't really find a place to get the Chaos Knights really purring and going off and actually doing some work. So we got this pairing, and I was like, boys, put me down as first defender. I'll take something horrible that no one else wants. We'll get it off the board, and then hopefully you lads can just get what you want, play a nice matchup, get some wins. I was like, the only thing I do not want is Tyranids, which we avoided. We avoided the Tyranids.
So, which I played. No.
We avoided the Tyranids. Yeah. So put me down as first, and they've offered me Custodes or Tyranids. I was like,
This is a tough one.
3 wound bodies. What have I got lots of? Oh, wait, I'll take that. So we took the Custodes, and then we got Steve into Death Guard again. So he's playing it for a second time. slightly different list, no PBCs, not on Purge. It wasn't in Hammer. It was Champions of Contagion, if I remember rightly. And I was like, Steve, this is a much better matchup for you. You've got this. And he did. He got it. He got it in the end. We got Jack into their Votan, Patrick into their Tyranids, and Joe into their World Eaters. So I arrive at the table of the Custodes player, young Rob and I, and he goes, "So, what's a haywire cannon?" I was like,
Oh no!
"Oh, it's one of these, is it?"
Oh my God.
I was like, "Oh, excellent! Come here, sir. Let me teach you a
Let
thing
me
or
show
two."
you the way of the haywire.
So I got a pretty good win out of that. I got 18-2 into that Custodes. There was only one brick of Wardens, which is huge. It's so much better.
You
For
just
me
have to play all three, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I think that if he runs all three, it's so much harder as a matchup for me. Then, the turn I have to kill them, I don't kill them, and then they roll over the rest of my army. When he only had one and deployed it at the back of the board,
Very nice.
good times.
Showed him what twin linked haywire was.
Exactly. I was like, right, here are Talos. Have them. So that was a very good win for me. Steve did beat the Death Guard.
Yeah, he did. 12-8.
He got a bit of a smile on his face. Steve was feeling pretty good about that. Jack got a very small win into the Votan. It looked a bit peaky. I looked over at one point, and it seemed to be a running theme at this point that someone had Terminators deep striking on people's home objectives. I turned around and there was the guy had put his Terminators down, and he was like, "I'm just going to bang some 9-inch charges." And with absolute confidence, conviction, made them.
Terrifying.
And I was like, Jack, is that good or bad? He's like, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about that. But he pulled it back. He got the 11-9. So go on, Jack. Patrick fell on the sword again and took the Tyranids because I don't think anyone really wanted them. I think it was Subterranean Assault. And I think Pat ended up playing a lot of games that he wasn't particularly experienced with. And Dark Angels wasn't his first choice of faction. He wanted the Drakari, but unfortunately there was two of us. I know, I'm really nasty. But he had a great time. You know what? I didn't see Patrick without a smile once a week.
He's a hero.
Absolutely my MVP of the weekend. I love him. Yeah. And then Joe absolutely bodied the World Eaters 17-3. So we ended up with our first round win at the end of day one, which is pretty good. We wanted that.
You're off the mark. 63-37.
That was it. And that was it. We were off the mark at that point. Picture confidence that we're ready to take on day two fresh. Let's go.
That's the way to end day one, right?
That is it.
You want to end the day with a win. And Omegon, well, they now got to play Vanguardians of the Galaxy. So Vanguardians got the double 6++. And this was a tie. A tie by 1 point. So Paul won 15-5 into the Chaos Colts. Connor won 17-3 into Tyranids. Tom won 11-9 into Custodes. Davey lost 2-18 into the Imperial Knights, and Jack lost 9-11 into the Votan. So yeah, that ended 54-46, and 55 is a win. Brutal. That is brutal. That just leaves everyone going, well, if this thing had happened, we've all been there if we've played teams before. We, for the very first time, got to play Mind Goblins 18. Obviously, Mind Goblins are previous winners. They're one of the best teams around. They won the UKTC last year. And you know what? We backed ourselves to beat them. We felt that we could definitely win on our day. And this was finally the chance for us to go and do that. How do you think pairings went, Harley?
We took a risk with going down with Ed first to try get him. We thought we'd try get him Chaos Cult because it's a bad matchup up on paper, but if he gets first and on UKTC boards, he can play it and do quite well into it. So we decided to take a risk there, and then we made a bit of a mistake I think our Jakari had a chance to play Votan and we didn't take it. And then that left our Jakari playing into Demons, the 6 bigs, which is just a terrible matchup. And we sort of lived and died on that. And sort of we took a risk and it didn't pay off, but we tried something a bit different. But we still thought after the pairings we could still get a draw if we sort of just held firm
If we
in
hooked our
some of the
matrix,
matchups.
there's still a thing where it could work out. And the story of the round. So we had Ed into Chaos Colts, which Ed was like, when I deployed it, I just suddenly thought, oh, if he goes first in full sends, I get 20 0'd here. He was like, oh no, this is really bad. I was playing into the Votan, I was playing into Tom Green, like absolute legend. Love Tom, obviously an exceptional player as well. Again, obviously he's quite experienced into Death Guard. I was not experienced in the reverse way around. Adam, as we said, with his Jakari into Chaos Demons, just a really bad matchup. Lee into Chaos Colts, Death Guard into their Death Guard. Now, that's a matchup which we had as good for Death Guard because of the number of shots. Like, just so many shots for me because I've got a knight. And if you think about Morty's hammer, one of the weaknesses is that it has no fallback and shoot, and it's blast, so it can't shoot itself out of combat. So an army like Chaos Colts, if it does get first turn, can just launch everything into their deployment line, jail them, and say, "What are you going to do about it? You're not going to get through me in time." And I was stood next to Lee as he was chatting to Tom and Jack, who were coaching, and was like, "I can just send here," and we're like, "We think you need to just send it. Just do it, mate. Like, this is one of those rounds where just go for it." And it was quite funny just seeing like the entirety of the Chaos Colts just surrounding his deployment zone.
There's no better person you want running at someone with 3 ACDT units than Lee.
Absolutely.
And he absolutely ran at Josh, and I love him for that. And I hope Josh is in the chat to hear that he lost.
Yeah, so it's 12-8 in the end, which, to be fair to Josh, considering what the board state looked like, fair play to Josh for managing to get the 8 points still. So really well done. And Harley, you got the mirror into Mr. Dom Mablo. How was that for you?
He's got more guns than me. I've got more infantry.
You had a knight though. So.
I had a knight. Oh, big. I sort of had it got to turn 3, and I had some news from Chris's game and from Adam next to me. Adam, if I can remember, it was 3 big demons on 3 objectives, and I'm thinking this is not a good sign. And then I hear Chris has failed a 6-inch rollable charge again, and I'm like, that's probably not a good sign. So Tom is basically, I'm like, Tom, look, I can try push. He's got a lot of guns. If it goes well, I can potentially push this to a decent win, maybe if I get in. If it doesn't go well, Dom picks up my damage, and then I play 2 turns with no damage and try score because I've got more like bodies. So I go for the push. I push 2 Dawns to see 2 of his Russes, and Canis to see a Russ, and Tenkasakin to see a Russ. I grenade 1 Russ. I shoot it and put it down to 5 wounds with 1 Dawn, and I'm like, okay, Kasakin can charge that, melt a mine it, tag it. Even if I don't kill it, it's not going to do much damage. It's not going to move. And the way Dom had his Dawn and his Lehman Russ, I was able to move block both of them to not really get any lines on any of my damage that I was putting out. I shot a Rogel Dawn with +1 AP into his Exterminator because I wanted to get rid of that so he couldn't get extra AP on Canis. So his battle tanks were AP1 max, so Canis had cover, so he was still getting 3-ups. I put it down to 8 wounds, which is a perfect number for Canis to finish it off. Canis rolls 5 shots, gets 7 hits, and I'm like, this is it.
Okay.
Does, I think, 5 wounds, and I'm like, he's just got to fail 2. He passes 4, and I'm just like, God, it's not dead. I charge with the Kasakin into the other Russ, roll a 1 on the Melter Mine, so that survives, and I'm like, I've killed neither of them, and I'm standing here with my dick out.
Yeah.
Canis gets one shot by, I think, basically a battle tank and a Dawn, and I'm just like, oh, Canis, go away at this point. You die to a wet fish. Like, no feel, no pain, and no invuln. It just means he falls over like anything. And then really it just played out to be a 10-10. So that after that push, I sort of lost Canis. So Canis was in a position where if he survived, he could have got into Dom's lines and started charging things and be a real problem, tagging things. But yeah, it just didn't happen. I think if I kill both them Russes, maybe I can get maybe a 13, push a little bit harder, but just a little bit unlucky. Dom played it well, and it sort of fizzled out to sort of a 10-10 draw in the end.
Yeah, nice. Ed managed to make the most of the fact that Jamie didn't play aggressively enough and managed to win 12-8, which was great. Adam lost 17-3. Lee won 12-8, and as we said, Harley drew 10 all. Over in my game into Tom, had a lovely time, but it became clear over the first couple of turns that he was just. I was able to pick up some of the bikes and stuff, but he was able to get to the knight. I kind of teased him. I was like, "Look, do you wanna try and take on the knight? If you bring it out, I'll kill you back because you won't kill me." And then he brought out, and then the knight came out, and he kind of the land fort and some bikes and stuff did like half its damage to it. And I'm like, right, here we go. And then I started doing the maths on a knight into a land fort, and it's not great, guys. It's not great. The last time I shot into a land fort, it was with 5 fire dragons, and they just annihilated it. And this maths made me think I probably did about 6 wounds, 6 damage to it. So that's probably not worthwhile. May have miscalculated this. And I'm on the back foot, and we get to turn 3, and basically it's Corn's deployment. In the bottom right-hand corner, he's got a big unit of 6 bikes. Top left-hand corner, he's dropped down his big vehicle unit, and they've picked up 2 bloat drones. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, I'll just try the 9-inch charge into the poxwalkers on the objective. Bangs it, boom. Puts me down on a 5, and I'm like, no, because he's already got an advantage for primary because he's going second, and he's slightly up on secondaries as well. And I'm like, that's not ideal. So I'm looking at the board state, and I've been predicting about a 7, and I'm like, right, well, look, if I put my 3 PBCs into the bikes in the bottom right-hand corner, that'll thin them down to about half. The Death Shroud go and mop up in the top left-hand corner, the anti-vehicle guys, and then can kind of be sat there. Where they'll be positioned, because he's made this 9-inch charge, the land fort won't be able to get and shoot into the Death Shroud. So all he can actually position to shoot into those Death Shrouds will be like 3 bikes and like 1 sag. And I'm like, they'll probably survive that. I'll then be able to hold out for 2 turns on that, which means I will get my 10s. I'll lock that down. And all my other shooting, my PBCs and that can go into thinning out all the other stuff. And we'll be in a situation where for 2 turns, he's playing with a land fort, some sags, and a couple of 5-mans. And I'll be playing with, a few little vehicles. But it will be reasonably equal on real estate. The Death Shroud rolled a 4 and then rolled another 4. And then, as Harley so eloquently put, just sat there with their dicks out. So instead of like locking down the top left, everything died, and it was just like, sorry guys about this. So all of my shooting over the next 2 turns and everything just went into trying to kill this stuff in the top left-hand corner because I didn't have the maneuverability to get over to the bottom right-hand corner. The knight just done sod all again. I lost 119. Obviously, I don't know what Tom's opinion is on the game, but I do genuinely believe that if I had made that charge, it would have been a very different game. But Tom played it better than I did, and I'll never know because I didn't make the charge. But that was pretty gutting because the game ended 62-38 to Mind Goblins, so they did win. Obviously, mine was the worst result, and if I make that 6-inch charge, the score is 100% better. How much better? I don't know. Maybe it's a 6. Maybe it was an 8. Who knows? But I reckon it's around that mark. And that immediately makes that game almost a draw, if not a draw. And obviously, as we know, Harley was very unlucky too. So that game could have quite easily been a draw. And this was, as I've mentioned earlier, a big issue for me anyway. Like, it doesn't matter if you're taking a really strong army. If A, it doesn't fit your play style, B, you don't understand how to play the matchup, and C, all your opponents do understand how to play the matchups. And actually, that is a huge issue that I wasn't quite as prepared for. And you know what I enjoyed the most the entire weekend was moving around poxwalkers. And that says a lot when your entire army is vehicle based, and it's just not something I'm used to as a player, and it really wasn't for me. So that was pretty gutting. I felt really shit after it. But we went out for food to Las Iguanas. Thank you for Tom for booking that, and it was quite loud, quite noisy, but we had a good time. Ate some lovely food. Went to our hotels, had some form of sleep, and day 4 came along. At this point, shout out to our sponsors, lovely Gambit Gaming, Prestige Wargaming, and East Air Conditioning, girl Jamie East, who have all contributed to our beautiful pink shirts, and we look incredible because of it. So thank you very much. At the end of this show, we will be doing questions, and I'll be doing the live draw of the WTC sweepstake that we are doing as well, where people give me money and are never going to see it again. But they will get be getting 2 teams, because there's 42 teams. We've had 21 entrants, so you will get a tier 1 or 2 team, and you'll get a tier 3 or 4 team, and then it'll be half the money will go to the person who has the best tier 1/2 team, and then half the money will go to the person who has the best tier 3 or 4 team. Anyway, round 4, Legion. You're off the mark. You're feeling a bit better about life, and you play into Hobby Henchman Team 4.
We do, and we felt really confident going into this one, actually, and it was rightly so. In the end, the result was good. We didn't lead with myself as first defender this time. We'd got that one out of the system. Like, it's fine. It worked. It's not going to work for every round, though, as Ricari.
Yeah.
But I think they had Death Guard, Guard, Knights of some description. What else did they have? Ultramarines and some CSM. So I think across the board, we all felt pretty good. Steve was adamant he didn't want to play Death Guard for a 3rd time in a row, which completely understandable at that point. Like, fine, I get it. No one wants to play Death Guard 3 times. Never mind having to play as them for 5 games in a row.
Who'd want to do that?
Who'd want to do that for themselves?
Yeah.
So they led with Guard as their first defender, and we thought, great, I'm going to give them the choice of myself or Chaos Knights. Now, their guard list is quite unique. So they're playing Hammer, which is great for their vehicles, and it was very tank heavy. And then he pulled out the Hellhammer, which is a Baneblade variant. And I practically dribbled on the table at the thought of this list. And he very, very happily obliged and took my matchup. So we got a good win out of that. Now,
so the Baneblade died.
The Baneblade died. It didn't die until about turn 4. He left it at the back for a while. I had to clear through the Russes and the Dawns first.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
But I was predicting a 20 on this. I was like, this will be fine. Until he draws a challenger card and bring it down. All he's got left, turn 5, bearing in mind, is Sly Marbo. That's all he's got left. And he looks at this Ravager and he goes, I'm going to have that. And he does. He charges it. Knocks it out of the sky. And I was like, you know what?
How many attacks? So, do we know Sly Marbo?
He's 5 attacks at strength 5, AP 1, damage 2.
It wasn't great. I think I took a wound or 2 beforehand for him to be able to do this, but
yeah, that seems quite
5 wounds, 5 failed, 5 up saves. That is a dead Ravager.
That's just what Sly Marlborough does, mate.
And I was like, I'm not even mad.
Yeah,
you know what? Have it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That finished at 18-2 for me. And I think we got wins or draws across the board. Patrick's game, he scrapped for absolutely every point against that Death Guard.
Yeah, a 10-10 Death Guard.
10-10
That's
that.
awesome.
And that was another one where actually I didn't quite appreciate how bad Deathwing Knights are into Death Shroud Terminators. He leaned over and he was like, Ben, Death Shroud Terminators with -1 damage and toughness 7. That's a pretty bad profile for my Deathwing Knights. I was like, actually, yeah, now you say that, I didn't quite appreciate how bad that was. I was like, just fine, just scrap for some points. It'll be okay, Patrick. I've got a big win here. Just don't lose big. All is fine. And yeah, he pulled it back to a 10-10, and it was big props to Patrick because he took some really tough matches all weekend.
The kind of guy you want on the team.
He absolutely. He just dug in for everything. I was like, you know what a hero, my hero anyway.
And that's one of the best things I like about teams is that you can be in that losing matchup, and you can just grind out those points, and those points can genuinely make the difference between your team winning and losing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's so awesome. So yeah, Legion 66-34 win. Jack beat CSM 14-6. You won 18-2. Steve won into Space Marines 14-6. Patrick got a 10-all tie, and Joe got a 10-10 tie into Chaos Knights. So
good round.
Very good round. We were happy with that.
Very good. Back up to 2-all. Over in Omegon Land, they are playing in Corrupted. Nice, that's another Black Crow team. Paul got to play Death Guard for a second time. It was a 10-10, so he's improving into Death Guard. Connor beat Necron, so he won the Necron Mirror 13-7. Tom smashed Chaos Knights 18-2. He clearly does like Knights, does our Tom. Davey, the 20-0 into Kobe. You know Kobe Waters, into Empress Children. Nice. And then I'll go Chris Owen as well. Jack Doddy lost 16-4 into Chris Owen with his vote. And shout out to Chris because one time I went on a night out with some of the Vanguard Tactics lot. This was when Chris was with them. And I lost my debit card in the middle of the dance on the nightclub, and he was just like, it would really make me feel a lot better if you cancelled your card now. And I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll find it. He was like, no, please just cancel your card. And I did. And yeah, thank you, Chris. Shout out to him. He likes to be every time I see him. But yeah, good solid win for Omegon 65-35. Now then, this is a round. So we are 2-1, and when we've been preparing for this event, you look. What we like to do is we like to matrix. We like to matrix into the top teams, and we probably matrix about 10 teams. And Fia EPC, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. Is who won the teams we matrixed because their lineup was pretty fire. So they had Lewis Smith of Team Ignite on 1,000 Suns. That's terrifying. They had Clement on Eldari. That's terrifying. Oliver Wheeler, another very good player, on CSM. And they had Jude Burgess, who I believe was picking up for them on AdMech. And then they had Martin Cooper, again, multiple GT winner and stuff, on Guard, on Recon, no less. They had a really good lineup, and we're a bit like, oh, we're 2-1. And this is something I've always said. You could literally be the third best team at the event. You could play the best and second best team at the event. You could go 3-2 and come middle of the pack. Like, that is how it works at team events. And it's just what it is. So we knew this was going to be a really good test for us. In terms of pairings, they went okay-ish, I think, in this round. I played into Lewis's 1,000 Suns, so confidence is not high. And then it's like, you see that Team Ignite player on 1,000 Suns, one of the, in theory, best factions in the game that you've never played into. Go play him. And it was quite funny because I was talking to Tom Ned. I was like, what the fuck do I do here? And their words were positive. Their faces were not. Their faces were that of, oh, fuck. Chris is going to fuck this up for us again, isn't he? But no, you'll be fine. You just do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, guys, you need to lie better. We had Clement into into Adam's Drakari, so got like an Eldari off there. But obviously, Clement, very good player. But then so is Adam, so that's going to be an interesting one. Harley into Chaos Colts. Hopefully that's okay. Who knows? We'll find out in a little bit. And then we've got Lee's CSM into Admech, which again we're like, well, this could be good, but Admech have a lot of shots, but we'll be okay. And then Ed Eldari into Recon Guard. Now, if you look at those two lists on paper, I think it's a pretty interesting matchup. Obviously, we back Ed to beat anyone. But again, I do believe this was a case of Ed looking at the boards as they deployed and going, I could definitely get 20 0'd here. So, things are in an interesting spot. Talk us through your game, Harley, into CSM.
I'm deploying my army, and he's outdropping me, and I'm like, holy crap, no one outdrops me. You've got a lot more stuff than I thought. And then he's sort of telling me through the ACDC breaks that I sort of understood, and I'm like, this is, please let me go first. I went first. If I go second, I think it's maybe drawish, like maybe a small loss. But I went first, and I'm like, this is why I've brought 4 Catachans. This is Canis's game. I go, I literally do 2 long lines of Catachans, and I'm like, you're not allowed to move. No. You're not allowed to go anywhere. And he scouts an ACDC brick forward, and basically they are so chunky, you ain't hiding. And I'm like, Rogadorn's going to shoot you from here. Canis is going to shoot you from over here. And they put it down to a Mind Witch and 1 free wound dude from the Dawn and Canis. And I'm like, okay, these are easy. These are easy to kill, like easy.
Very good.
He brings out the second one, and it happens again. It just dies. And I'm like, Rogu Dawns with Blast 4, and I'm like, this is a drug. And I'm like, while doing this, I have to play a little bit cagey, because if I go too far forward, he is quick enough to get me. And if he tags me, it's over. Like he starts blood surging into me, and I can't fall back and do anything. So if he tags me, it's over, right? So I'm just playing it like cagey, just trying to get like a small win. And basically it looks like it's going to be a small win. He's sort of saving some stuff for last turn to come out, get primary. I've whittled him down enough that he's not going to get a 15 on the last turn, only a 10, which was nice, but he was obviously getting challenger cards and stuff like that. Oliver was a great opponent. He's from Wild Boys, shout out to them. And yeah, he was really good to play. It was a lovely game, and it sort of came down to sort of a 13-7 win. I was just sort of grinding him down every turn. And basically, he looked at it turn 1. He looked at Lewis next to him, and he goes, well, I've gone second, and I can't leave my deployment zone. If I do leave my deployment zone, I die. And that was basically the story of the game. He just tried to get his expansion, and that was really it. And I just sort of held my expansion nice and easy and pressured the middle and pressured his. And yeah, that's sort of how it went. Sort of a cagey, small win, 13-7. But it was a great game, and Oliver was a brilliant opponent.
Yeah, no, excellent. Yeah, I used to go to London events. Played Oliver. He was on Custodes and I was on Necrons, with like loads of Doomsday Arcs and Doomsides, and we had a really fun game, just like shooting the shit out of each other over the course of the game. So yeah, I know he's a fun opponent. Okay, right. So Adam managed to get an 8-12 into Clement, which I think was like great.
Respectable.
Yeah, that's
really happy with that. So Adam did a great job there. It's always good to try and neutralise Clement. Ed and Martin had a game where Ed sweated his absolute balls off and managed to get a 10-10 there. So well done, Ed. He killed like 250 guardsmen or something like that. My game into Lewis was basically me trying to force him into a cagey game by just hiding and throwing out 1 unit at a time and that sort of thing. The knight did do some good here, because a knight, if he can fire off both battle cannons and the mutalisks are in contagion range, he does just one-shot one. But basically, there was a key moment turn 3. Again, I've gone first, which is quite nice, but it does mean that he's going to have an advantage in scoring at the end of the game, because he's just going to. You can see he's playing for that. He's playing really cagey as well. And there's this moment where there's this mutated vortex beast on this objective. I'm like, well, I'm trying to deny his primary again. So I line up 2 bloat drones into it. It's only got 9 wounds left. I'm like, that might not be enough. So I need to bring the knight out past its little deployment ruin, just in case. The first bloat drone then just high rolls and one shots it. And I'm like, brilliant. Okay. So now the knight is sat there just to shoot into 5 Zangors. At which point, Lewis goes, I'm really sorry for what's about to happen. And his entire army comes out to play. Just
Ooh.
saturates the board, just, teleports and blah, blah, whatever. Comes out the rhinos and just appears everywhere. And he's like, yeah, this isn't going to go well for you. And I'm like, he's very polite, but he was quite confident. I'm like, I don't know why you're so confident. Anyway, about 5 minutes later, we saw why he was so confident. The knight basically lost half its wounds to one of those fucking infernal masters or exalters, whatever it is, with a 2 damage flamer.
Yep.
He was like, oh, so that's like 8 dev wounds. And I'm like, what? And I made a mistake. I hadn't tucked back in a plague burst that had moved out an inch to flame something in the middle of the board. And so I lost that. I lost the knight. I lost my Phytic Blighthauler that had been out sat in the middle scoring points. And now I'm kind of cornered. Like my remaining army, I've got like 2 PBCs, 2 bloat drones, the Death Shroud, who I kept back because he's really diligently screening. And again, my game plan was basically drip feed out as little as possible and dump my entire army out onto the objectives turn 4. And then it's like, can you kill me quickly enough, or will I get some primary in turn 5? That was basically my goal. But he dumped his whole army out turn 3 instead, and so he won that war. And definitely having now played it, obviously I wouldn't get the knight out. I would keep that back because that was what was holding him back from coming out to play. And I think then the game's probably quite close. As it was, it escalated into a 4-16. But obviously Lewis is an exceptional player. But I was a bit gutted because I felt like I could have done better. It was just that one mistake with the knight, which is a trend. I would say these days when I play, I know when I'm going to lose a unit.
Yeah.
Like that's where I'm at. Like each turn, I'll be able to say these are the units will die for me, and that's part of the game plan. Whereas with this army, I didn't really know because it's that kind of that vehicle stat checky type thing, and it's just a lack of reps. Now Lee's game, I think that game finished as a draw, which was quite gutting, I think, because if you get to 3-1, there's still a chance that you can make the final. The going to 2-1-1 meant that we were no longer in shotgun. So that was sad times. But onwards and upwards to round 5. Legion, you have won 2 games in a row.
Yes, we have.
You are now in an interesting spot because news has come through of a very exciting other pairing. In which Artorias, in their final round, are going to be taking on Omegon.
Ooh.
Which leaves us in a world in which Legion could now become the best 6++ team at this event. If Legion win and Artorias and Omegon is a draw, then Legion are now the best team.
It was a weird spot to be in, that, right? It's
pressure is on, guys.
It's on. I tried to pay Harley, just to throw the game so you could even it out a draw.
Well, he tried his best.
He tried.
So Legion, you got paired into
Death Corps of Queen's Road, and it's their A team. Ignore that silly long amount of letters after that because
it's quite a long name. Can we just we should pay due diligence? Their team name is Death Corps of Queen's Road, Team Alpha Super Awesome Cool Dynamite Wolf Squadron. Pretty cool team name, and that was Death Corps' first team, and they're a pretty good team.
They're a pretty good team. So interesting fact about Death Corps is they are our local rivals. They're the other team in Leicester for trash.
Yeah.
That are our local rivals. So I've got quite a bit of insight on these guys. So I saw it come up and I was like, right, Legion chaps, we cannot lose this round. This has to happen. And I was like, look, the only thing that can't happen is do not put me into their Tau player because he's in my head. He wins the game immediately just for being in my head. He plays Tau. Like, I should just win that. But he was in my head. So I'm like, don't put me into him. Give me anything else. It's fine. So we got in with a plan. Put me down as first defender. sort of expected them to give us the Tau and their Eldari matchup. They didn't. They gave me Tau and Orcs, at which point I'm always rotating away from the Tau. So then we got our CSM into their Tau. We got our Chaos Knights into their Dark Angels, Death Guard into their CSM, and poor Patrick got Eldari Aspect Host with 20 Fire Dragons, Lycis, Banshees. His poor Dark Angels did not like the look of that. And I sort of pulled him to the side afterwards. I was like, look, this is going to be pretty rough, mate. I'm really sorry. Scrap for the points. And he gets points again. You know what? A hero of a guy. So we're feeling pretty good. I've pulled Steve to one side. All right. This is the one game. Deploy your stuff on the line. This Dark Angels player is going to do nothing here. Put it on the line. Go first. Charge him everywhere. And Steve does it. And in his turn 1, Steve has killed the Lion, his Land Raider, and his 2 Gladiators. At this point, their poor Dark Angel player is like, what do I even do from it? I've lost the Lion turn 1. How does that happen?
No one expects to lose the Lion turn 1.
No. So Steve's that comes in really early. We're like, cool. That's probably a fairly solid win there. It looks like Joe and Jack are going to have a really tight game. They're predicting 10s quite early on. And then it's me into the Orcs. Now, Orcs do scare me as a Drakari player because, he's got 40 boys, loads of characters, the battle wagons, he's got Gaz. It's Warhorde, so if he just sends it, like fully sends it, there's nothing I can do there. Like, I can diddle around with cute fight first all I want, but like he's just going to roll me, and that's going to be that. He goes first, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, boys, I don't think I'm getting anything.
Clenching time.
And I was like, okay, and then he puts his battle wagons in the middle, and that was his turn. I was like, all right. I was like, fine, there's a play here, and I think it was one of those. I think he'd not quite estimated like how much the haywire was going to do to these battle wagons, and then if I just shove my whole army into those 40 boys and characters, how quickly they will just disappear. Which is exactly what happened. He lost all of that turn 1 without calling the war. He obviously wasn't even in the war, so I was just like, Lilith touches a 20 boy brick, and you go, well, that's the majority of it dead, unless Harley rolls it. We had Harley rolling it out.
I killed that 10 boys each
time. So that ended up being quite a good win for me. He just couldn't recover from that. So I think I got 19-1 in the end. He just pulled it back from being a 20.
Yeah, 19-1 for you.
Which was pretty good going down the line, and then we were just waiting on. We knew Patrick was getting I think he's 17-3 in the end.
Yeah, lost. Yeah.
And I worked it out, and Joe and Jack are still playing. I was like, we just need 18 points from these last 2 games. I was like, just hold. It's fine. You're both getting 10s. Joe could not just hold. Joe pushed. He was like, I'm going to get this 15. I was like, we're making this comfortable. So we got the win in the end. It was pretty good. So we ended up 3-2, which was what Jack had said before the event. I'd like to get the 3-2. I think we're all in a bit of agreement. We'd like to get that 3-2. And we smashed it. We managed to get it in the end. So we were really happy with that event finish.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you won that round 62-38. And I think that's so good. You've got Jack on the Death Guard who's performing well for Death Guard at the moment. That's always generally going to be small wins or draws with him. You had an absolute barnstormer because we need to shout you out, Ben. You came 5th out of everyone. Now that's over 300 players. Yeah. I thought I did well. I came 8th at the last one. You came 5th. Best 6+ player.
I mean, to be fair, that was before the final round came in.
Ooh. Well, yeah, we don't care about that. But yeah, no, shout out to you. Looks what happens when you play for a good team. It's weird. Steve on the Chaos Knights, obviously he grew into that role.
Absolutely.
Patrick drew the short straw of kind of just taking on. But having a player that's happy to do that, I think, is really important. Like, one of my favourite phrases is leave the ego at the door, and he's the epitome of that, right?
It absolutely is, yeah.
And that's what I really like about it. Teams, and it brings out maybe players who aren't that experienced or maybe traditionally aren't going to get those wins or those big wins. they still have a role in the team. They can still do a good job. They
Absolutely.
can nullify an opponent enough for your own team. So that's awesome from Patrick. And then obviously Joe on his CSM had some great wins as
He
well.
did.
So yeah, really amazing team effort there, guys. Super proud of you. Um,
I think the highlight of my weekend was Steve round 5 going, "Yeah, I've finally learned how to play knights."
Yeah. It turns out if you just put it on the line and push, you
It
just beat
works.
people. It works. Who
yeah,
knew?
knew?
stat check them to oblivion.
Oh.
Now over in Alpharis and Omegon land, obviously, the pressure's on Alpharis to win. We did pairings out on the lawn, and it was all very friendly and fun, and we were all chatting away. I think afterwards we're kind of looking down at the matchups and being like,
What have we
this,
done?
what, something's not quite right here, because suddenly we're looking at our basic predictions. I'm like, we've paired into a draw, and we're like, well, surely we should be beating these guys. But the pairings hadn't gone quite right. So, or well, who knows? But it was my Death Guard into Paul's Space Wolves. Remember, he's played Death Guard twice. It was our Drukhari into their Necrons, which traditionally Necrons do like elves.
Yeah.
It was their sisters into Harley's Guard. It was Ed into World Eaters with Davey. And then Lee's got his CSM into their Death Guard, which again, we're a bit like, Lee was certainly not that comfortable and confident into it. So we're like, okay, well, we're going to have to see how this develops and how this round develops. Unfortunately for Davey, Ed got to go first. Now, as we have established, if Eldar get first drop and get to go first, especially on table quarters, it's not quite bad. And I looked across at Davey and I kind of was a bit like, sorry about this, Davey, as Ed basically killed 500 points turn 1, 500 points turn 2, 500 points turn 3, and 500 points per turn 4. The final score was 115, which kind of puts into perspective just how brutal. I think Davey pulled off some quite cool move turn 1 with like disembarking out of a rhino to block out space and stuff. So fair play to Davey for trying that. But I think it's a sort of thing where when you've experienced it once, maybe you can deal with it the second time better, right? So that was a 20-0, and that was a 20-0 as soon as Ed won the roll off to go first. In reality, right?
Yeah.
So that obviously immediately puts us into a strong position, and then we just go play some Warhammer and see what happens elsewhere. You played into Tom's sisters, Harley. How was that?
I don't even really know, to be honest. My head was a little bit fried from the last round, to be honest, after what happened. I was a little bit baffled about that, and I was a little bit baffled playing the game, to be honest. I just things were killing things that shouldn't have been dying. At one point, Tom was saying he was getting 20 0'd, and I didn't think he was. He was in a solid position. I think he just got a little bit worried when I killed a couple Paragons that I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, there was just a couple things that I just didn't do correct in the game, and I was like, I had a good foothold, and then instead of pushing, I sort of just went, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and not do anything when I was going first. So, and that just allowed Tom to sort of come back into the game. He stayed in it, to be fair to him, and played it well. And yeah, I didn't really push the pressure when I got myself into a good board state. I got Canis in a really nice spot where he basically couldn't be shot, picked up a castigator for free, and then next turn decided to stand him still and shoot 5 sisters. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. I just sort of took the foot off. I don't think my head was really there after the last round, and Tom played it well to sort of keep it drawish. He did what he had to do in that game.
Yeah, and he finished 10 all right.
Yeah. A solid 10 from me as always, right?
Yeah, solid
Nothing
10.
more, nothing less.
Why change? So yeah, that was cool. Lee's game went quite well for him. He ended up beating Jack's Death Guard 18-2. He just bulldozed his way through all those Terminators. Connor and Adam had a great fun 10-all draw. So, I mean, it feels like Adam's done really well there.
I think he jailed him. I think he just sent both beast
Yeah.
packs forward and just blocked him in.
Just blocked him in.
Yeah, the Necron Warrior brick didn't get out till like turn 4 or 5. So.
Yeah, which would obviously massively change the game. Then I played into Paul, a captain off. Paul, this is his third game into Death Guard. Obviously, I'm not having the best time. I'm pretty frazzled. Paul plays his list really, really well. It's a really cool list as well. Like, it looks so much fun to play, and he just has so much stuff. And what was most upsetting was that he had 2 repulsor executioners. Now, if you remember back to that first game, how I felt about a repulsor executioner. Well, there's 2 of them here, and yeah, like he, I think the first. I can't remember actually. I think Paul went first, and he just kind of pushed some stuff out. I didn't really have much stuff to kill, but I could just kill it. Turn 2, he was genuinely like just going for like 9-inch charges out of strat reserve and like all this sort of stuff. Classic Paul. Wasn't good enough. He gave me turn 2 like quite a few units, like 2 or 3 units just for free on top of like other things. Like I wasn't after 2 turns, I hadn't really lost much at all, and I had killed quite a few of his units. He still had so much stuff.
Got a lot of stuff in that list.
Like there's so much, just all these 5-man, like 3-3-man Thunderbolts, 3 5-man Wolfen, 6 3-3 of the Head Takers. Got the transports. It's just like it's like never ending. And I'm looking at the board. I'm like, well, hopefully I get a 15 at the end. But he's managing to just consistently knock me down to 5s. I've not been able to lock down my expansion because I'm terrified of these bloody Head Takers. And I think the sum up of the game was when, it felt like I'd driven him back. He was so worried about he's really worried about my Death coming into his home field because I'd afflicted the backfield markers. So he screened out all the 6 inches beautifully and was literally pretty much his whole army, or what was left of it, was in his own table quarter. I had to rapid ingress down my Death onto my natural expansion just to get primary. And then I'm sat there, I'm like, well, I could shove my knight in the middle, but those 6 Head Takers probably just pick up the knight. I'm like, did they kill the knight? And he was like, well, they did kill the Great Unclean one with the 4 upfield and pain. I'm like, well, yeah, okay, probably don't want that to happen then. So I just kind of like sit there. Again, I've not got the tempo right. I've not pushed out when I should do. I've not taken the board space. I'm using this army as an army that sits there and shoot things, but I keep retreating, so I don't want to get tagged and stuff. I end up and the army's not fast enough to push out. I should always be moving this army, and I'm not. Just haven't played it quite right. So I'm like, but if I do, I just get charged, I get tagged. And then 6 Head Takers just launch themselves out of this impulsor, and and charge the knight, which is sat on my home field. Like, Lee Churchwood wants to go home, but he can't because I'm using his knight. So Paul was very kind and just one-shot the knight. And yeah, it was. I made a couple of like clear mistakes, and again, this is a thing with an army you don't know. Sometimes it can be hard to identify the macro mistakes, but I definitely identify like 2 micro mistakes here. And like there was this moment where I needed to kill a transport in the middle objective, and I just sat there and shot it, and I failed to kill it, and it meant he got another 5 on primary, when all I had to do was move a bloat drone over, charge it, and get onto the objective, and try and tank shock it to finish it off. But I hadn't moved it. I wasn't afflicting anything. Brain was gone. Paul was playing really well, and he comfortably won 14-6, and it was a very well-deserved victory. He's got a really cool list, and he played it excellently. Not much I can say more about that, really. So in the end, the round finished 64-36. I think at one point Omegon were feeling like they could get the draw there, and I absolutely could. It was just didn't quite manage it. I mean, Ed getting a 20-0 was obviously really useful for us, and Lee's 18-2 as well. But a couple of draws and pretty good. So all that meant was that our Forest finished 3-1-1. We finished in 11th place, which was okay. Due to my inability to score any points, our overall points had been tanked. So I think we came bottom of the 3-1-1s, which was obviously pretty frustrating. Then Legion, you came as second best team, going
Yeah.
3-2. I can't remember where you came. It was 20 something.
20th.
20th,
dead
yeah,
on.
which is amazing. 20th out of 64, so good. And then Omegon came to like 26th or something like that. So overall, all in top half, like really successful event. In terms of Legion, what were your takeaways, Ben? Like, if we've got people listening here who may be thinking, "Oh, team events, like, I want to try that," or they're trying to learn. Like, what are your takeaways in terms of either comp or what
Yeah.
worked well as a team, or what you need to be aware of in the current meta? Like, what were your team's takeaways?
So I mean, I think we got a lot of things right. You know, we were very good communicating with each other about what we thought of the matchups as we were going through, and beforehand as well. You know, what we thought we would get into, what we thought we'd need to avoid. I think we were very good at airing that out. I think pairings for the first couple of rounds, we'd got them a bit off again, just through misunderstanding a few matchups. But we picked that up as we went on. You know, we got a little bit better at that. I think the only thing we thought about afterwards was maybe it might have helped to have spoke about some of these matchups that we had a little bit less confidence with perhaps some of the other teams. You know, obviously between Omegon and Alpharis, and be like, could someone just check with us, like, what is this matchup like? What do we think comp wise? Do we have play there? Who should play it? How should we play it? You know, like the sisters match, none of us really actually knew what sisters did. But you know, if we'd come to some of you guys and maybe check with that beforehand, we might have had a bit more understanding there as to how that matchup's supposed to go. So I think that was it. I think maybe a bit of that inter-team talking was where we
Which
were
is something
thinking.
we always talk about and actually don't particularly do. I think at the moment we're still a bit in this rivalry between
Yeah.
teams, and actually, what we really need to do as an overall team is fuck that off. Like, there is absolutely no need for us to, like, we should be working together as a 15 to
Yes.
help each other out, and there's no excuse for that. And that's something that we really do need to work on moving forward. I definitely agree.
Some internal scrims and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might have helped as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, excellent. Harley, we've obviously debriefed as a team a bit. Like, what are your thoughts?
Don't chuck someone on an army they don't know. And I think we found that out quite early the weekend, purely because people knew
How to play into it?
they knew how to play into it. So they were playing. They knew exactly what to do into you, and you didn't know what to do to them because it was your first time playing the reps into them. And like it's say like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago in ninth, you'd be absolutely fine picking up the best army in the game. It was that broken. You could just play it but now it's a lot different. Which is good, like a credit to how the game is now. Really, like even though Death Guard are very strong, they are still beatable. And it's just like we would have been better off taking Grey Knights.
Yep.
Because you know that army, you know how to get points with it, you know the profiles, and we learned that out quite early. We thought we'd take a chance with it, and it didn't work. But you know, we chose that as a team, so we take that as a team. Like it didn't work, but you know, you try new things, and sometimes it don't work. I tried Canis, and it didn't work. You know, so we tried something different. It didn't work. Maybe just sticking to what we know is a better option, to be honest, something we know. But we've learned quite a bit of that and probably a bit more prep in regards to the boards, sort of stuff like that, knowing the matchups a little bit better with matrices. And then even as sort of Ben said, some internal talks would be good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this event was an absolute classic case of do as I say, not as I do, which is like quite a classic phrase in like teaching and coaching and stuff. Like, if we were to be giving advice, which literally the last episode was how to do work teams. The things you do is you say make sure you play armies you know, because you will understand the army better, you'll matrix better, you will have an overall better performance than just trying to pick out the latest meta. But obviously, we thought we were better than that. The army just did not suit my style, so I play very specific kinds of, or I have played specific kinds of army for the last few years now, namely Eldar and Grey Knights, who play in a very specific way. I've never really used a vehicle army which has a very different macro way of playing, and so I'm not used to playing like that, and I don't have that capability. Really, I would have to relearn like the game in terms of how to play that. It was a bit like when I had a little dalliance with World Eaters. That was a very different way of playing, and it took me like I think I played about 6 games with them, and by the 6th game, I was starting to get a bit of a vibe for how much to push and when. And what clearly was the case was that I didn't. My natural way of playing this particular army didn't work, but I didn't want to risk doing anything differently in case it went even worse. And like the Votan game, there is a circumstance there where that game's not actually that bad, and I'm happy with scoring 7 points. There is a situation where the Thousand Suns game, like if I went second, for example, like that could have been close if I'd not done stupid thing with the night as well. Like the first game, if I just got a move, like those were little things where actually, but all it did was really reinforce the fact that we shouldn't have done it. Like I would have scored better with Great Knights, like across all those games. We just didn't want to take that. We wanted to have the Death Guard army, but it's a very clear case that just taking the best armies, actually, they're not the best armies if they're in the wrong hands. And yeah, sure, we've got other players in the team who would have done better than me. Death Guard, absolutely. But yeah, it just didn't work out. And I think for me, like 2 events ago, I was a bit like, I'm not playing much anymore. Like, I don't really, there's not much point me doing Alpharis at the moment. And then the last event, obviously, I took Unari and I did well and brought the confidence back. So this time I was like, yeah, no, I can do it. But the reality is that if you take me off the team this weekend and you just say give every opponent a 20-0, we still go 3-1-1. So like as an individual player, that obviously feels like pretty shit, right? So yeah, that kind of sucks. So it's trying to like work your head around that and that sort of thing. So yeah, but in terms of a team, we had 2 months to prep, and I think it was, as we said, it was just a bit chaotic. Couldn't quite work out what we wanted to take, and that sort of thing. We just got in our heads about Knights and Death Guard, and it just wasn't as smooth. Even the event itself, I don't think was quite as smooth. I was captain, and I was really struggling to pull out of my headspace of me on my army, trying to focus on just like I had no idea really what was going on in other games. When I was every other event, I'm fully aware of what's going on in all the games. I'm walking the line here. This time I was literally just a player trying to focus, and that was partly because we had Jack and Tom coaching, and a huge shout out to them. They were amazing. Jack did a load of filming of between rounds and stuff. We're going to produce a video, which is going to be awesome. We'll give a really deep insight into our event. And he took loads of great photos as well. But yeah, for us, we've certainly got a few takeaways on how we can have a better season next year. We ended up finishing 5th overall in the national team rankings. They've just released those today. Shout out to Mind Goblins who won. Special shout out to Sigil. Sigil are a team that no one really ever talks about, but they got to the final and their A team came second and their B team came fourth.
Wow.
Like that's pretty amazing.
Okay.
So yeah, amazing effort there.
Gustavo smashing people with guard as usual.
Yeah, so just an incredibly strong set of 10 players, right? Simple as that. And obviously Carnage went on to win the event, so well done Carnage. But yeah, that's our ITT roundup. A lot of fun. And again, huge thank you to Ben for joining us for the ride. So Trash will be expecting big things from you now. Sure.
Yeah, we're going to November ITT, so
Excellent. We'll see you in the final then.
Final. We'll see you at some point. I can guarantee that.
We do always play you.
We do always play. Maybe that was where you went wrong this time. You didn't get to play Crash. That was it. We didn't just give you the easy round.
We didn't get the free win.
Yeah, exactly. That was it.
Right. 2 things to go. Let's see if we can fill them in before the 2-hour mark. So I've got some podcast questions, and I'm going to do the WTC Live sweepstake draw. So, questions. Who's going to be the next meta menace once Death Guard and Knights get flattened? Votan? What do we think? Next meta menace.
It's difficult, right? We've got a couple of books on the horizon, haven't we? We've got Templars, Votan, Grey Knights. I'm not sure where they are in the release schedule. I think one's coming soon.
Well, Grey Knights and Black Templars will be out this weekend.
This weekend. So it'd be interesting to see where they land. I suspect with Knights and Death Guard hopefully getting flattened, we might be in a land where perhaps this more hordy style of army is going to be somewhere in there. So I'm going to look at the GSCs. The Black Templars probably. They always seem to come out of the gate strong. So my bet would be with like the GSC or Black Templars.
Nice, excellent. Harley?
If Death Guard and sort of Knights get nerfed, and maybe a couple other things, I think World Eaters may do quite well. After playing them this week.
Yeah, you're like, well, I played them and they're amazing. So.
Like some of their rules are really good, and like I feel like they could do well. Shout out to Sam on Black Crow. He done really well the weekend with them. They're like a proper strong push army in the right circumstances. I also think Eldar, I don't think they're going to get another like love tap. So I think like with UKTC, they're going to be so scary. Like, how do you, like, if you don't get first drop and they put the Rangers there, where do you deploy your army? Because if they get first turn, you can't deploy in that L.
Mm-hmm.
So it just causes such problems. And if you don't have infiltrate, what do you do? So I think World Eaters and Eldar could be sort of quite good. If the meta does move away from vehicle hull spam, like in Death Guard and Knights, I think the Grey Knight new book will be good. I just don't think it deals with big mech like it's always struggled with. If it's like quite an infantry meta, I'd expect Grey Knights to do quite well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Who knows what the new Votan, how strong the new Votan will be. So it'll be a lot of fun. I think everyone will breathe a deep sigh of relief. This is probably the most miserable we've all been, right, since Eldar.
No, I love it.
Well, yeah, Ben's gonna have some, but most people, like we haven't had a situation, right, where it's just there's been the domination. We haven't had Knights at the top of the meta for a very long time. That obviously immediately skews a lot of things, and it leads the meta down a certain path. Whereas actually, if you remove the Knights and the Death Guard or load them, it'd be interesting. Obviously, as Matt says in chat, T-Suns are a strong army. They might
T-Suns as well. T-Suns as well. Very good.
But yeah, hopefully it'll become a bit more balanced before next year when we hit up presumably 11th edition.
Yeah.
What's the design philosophy behind those vibrant and sexy new shirts? Well, I don't even know when it happened, but I think some point last year we were thinking about new members and we're like, well, we get a new shirt. And it was just I was like, I quite like the idea of going pink. Now this might be because my army's always so tech green and the color wheel chart is pink for that complementary color, but also, we were one of the first teams to start bringing out like those spies shirts, and it looked really cool. Now all the teams have them. You look at us in our blues, and it's like you don't really notice it at all. So how else can we see each other across the hall than something quite bright and vibrant? So we actually had an entire voting system. Everyone was able to submit designs. We had various hexagon designs. We had other different designs from other manufacturers and stuff, and we all just voted, and it got narrowed down. We were quite close to having, instead of pink, it could have been orange. That was quite a popular one.
Yeah.
It could have been reversed, so we did have the turquoise at the top and the pink at the bottom. But actually, I mean, like we've got lots of people being like, "Oh, I quite like one of those" and stuff. Like, we have decided that we are going to keep it internally, just because we like that. But unless you're a very close friend of the police who maybe represented us once or twice, Ben?
Maybe.
But yeah, and when we were live on stream, and I looked behind me at we were on the front row and our team just all playing their games, I thought, oh, this looks cool. I really am a big fan of it.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
Yeah,
I think they're quite cool. Shout out to seeing Scrivo on the WTC streams standing out in pink.
Yeah, just in bright, vibrant pink. Yeah,
they're nice shirts.
Now that's a Matt says, when will you normalize the volume? Now I'm going to take this as sass rather than just pure rudeness. But basically, the program we use, we have a subscription to, or it's a website. It's called EVMux. It does not have a sound equalization thing. So the way we sound check is before the show, we say, how do you guys sound? Or how do I sound? And we just kind of work out that we're roughly the same. That doesn't happen every time. We've also got some people who have different mics and that sort of thing. So it doesn't always work out nicely. But we do try our best. We just need to be a bit more diligent with it. Hannibal says, if 6++ was writing an emergency balance patch, which armies would you nerf? I mean, obviously, Death Guard's win rate is ridiculously high for most people. I did my best this weekend to really plummet that bad boy. But, and you're seeing people starting to get used to it. But I'm very interested to see how they get on at WTC. There's a 40 out of 42 teams have taken Death Guard. It'll be interesting because they're not really a big win army. They're supposed to be like an 11 to 15 in teams. That's how they're just solid and they're just hard to beat in theory. But obviously, looking at the stats, it's got to be Death Guard, it's got to be Chaos Knights, it's got to be Imperial Knights. It's whether they tap the next in line to the throne.
Yeah.
That's where sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. Blood Angel is obviously very strong. Black Templar's looking quite good. Thousand Sun's good.
I feel like if Knights get hit a lot and Death Guard T-Suns would be very strong, so they need a little tap as well. I just don't like Knights. I just don't like the fact you can put 6 stat check things on a table and just stat check someone, and if they can't deal with it, they just lose. It's just not a good environment. Teams, it's fine because you can counter it, but singles, it's just not a nice environment to be in. I haven't done a singles event since the last 6++ GT, which was ages ago because the meta is just...
That was a really fun time where we had more DACA for
that was more DACA in Inari, so that was fun as well. But just Knights, because if you can't deal with them in singles, then you might as well not go to an event if you're going to.
They're everywhere, right? Death Guard and Knights combined are like 25% of them.
Yeah, exactly. You will, at your 5 games, you're guaranteed basically to play one of them. And if you can't deal with it, there's your loss.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Anything else, Ben?
No, I think you both hit it on the head. I think Knights points realistically, right? I think
they take away one of their toys, right?
Yeah, and that is it.
Excellent. Then we've got some high quality banter from Harley saying, "Why did Chris use Death Guard?" Gilles Boas says,
"Not answering that one."
No. Well, I probably have. I probably have over the course of this show. What advice would you give players wanting to try their hand at teams for the first time?
Don't take Death Guard.
Yeah, that's what Tom said. So funny. Our entire last episode was about advice on how to do better at teams. What advice would you give players wanting to try their hand at teams for the first time? I would personally say don't put pressure on yourself. Just do what you can for the team. Go and have fun times, and make sure that you take an army. Well, basically, if you're going for the first time, right? I mean, I don't say if you're going as a team for the first time or whether you're going for the first time, but know what your matrix is, and then deliver on your matrix. And in theory, those should go hand in hand. And there's no glory in always lowballing your predictions because that doesn't help the pairing process. Obviously, high rolling your predictions and being like, yeah, I'm going to get a 12 or 13 win and then getting 2 points like that. Also not ideal. But yeah, don't just try and that'll piss people off because it really affects the pairings that way. If you keep saying, oh, I can't win this one, and then you do keep winning. But yeah, just be very clear on your role and what you're trying to do in each game. And then don't just send it unless you're told to.
Unless you're Ed.
Unless you're Ed, yeah.
I think preparation is key as well, right? For teams. If you're doing like a well-prepped team will beat a team that isn't prepped, even if they maybe have a couple.
And that's how we have got better as a team, right? Obviously, the player skill has improved if we brought in new players and stuff, but we didn't quite get it right this time. But especially last time, that was probably the best we felt as a team. Like Harley, you were on the team with me.
Yeah.
We had a really great comp. We'd really nailed that down. We all knew our matrices. Everything was so smooth there, and we got so close to making the final. We didn't lose, did we? We
No,
just
no, 3 wins, 2 draws.
Yeah.
One of the draws, we was like 3 or 4 points off of beating Vanguard, and if we got them points, we was in the final.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's prep. Prep is the main thing. Have a role for everyone. Know who your big scorers are. Know who your drawers are. Just know like that, and flexible, right? I wouldn't say you have a set defender. Always have multiple people that can sort of flex in that role.
Yeah.
And then, as Chris said, I think Matrix is the biggest important thing. If you think there's a list there that you will go and smash, don't say, "Oh yeah, I think it's a small win." Say you will smash it. If there's a list you think you get smashed by, don't say, "Oh, I can probably keep it tight," and then you get first turn and you go, "Oh, I needed second to keep it tight." Say it smashes you, so then people can like pair for it, and then nothing can really go wrong. Obviously, mistakes can be made in games. That's normal. We're all human. But like, just yeah, if you think you smash a list, just be honest. Don't sugarcoat it. Just say you smash it. And the best person to ask that is Ed, because he says he smashes everything. So that's the best one, really.
Yeah.
Anything to add there, Ben?
Yeah, I think, try not to get lost in this skew world. Obviously, you hear a lot about teams, I think, as a new player, and it's, skew this, skew that. I think if you've got something you're comfortable on, take that. Be comfortable on what you're playing. If you know what you're going to do with that list, then that's great. You don't want to get lost in, I've got a skew for this, and then you end up not playing it because you're inexperienced as a team in pairings. Cool, I've skewed for knights, and I've not played knights once.
Well, this is it, right? Like,
Yeah.
We talk about these situations where you want to build your army to be able to take on knights. If the other team pick up that you are good in knights, you're never going to play
Never
knights.
playing
But
it.
that's absolutely fine because you are therefore creating a situation. So if you take another army that's really great into knights, you've now created a process in which they can never defend with knights.
Yeah.
And that is something you have then made happen, right? And it's all about those consequences. Then you work your way down the chain and kind of build from there. So yeah, absolutely. And those are all the questions we've had. So all is left, and I failed at keeping it under 2 hours, but hey, who cares?
We tried.
Only just.
Okay, is obviously there's quite a big tournament coming up. World Team Championships just about to start. Ben, Harley, are you excited? Are you going to be sat down in front of War Games Live as much as you can? Or are you just going to dabble? What's your opinion on?
I'll have it on whenever.
I'm going to have it on during work. I'll just
Yeah.
have it on my laptop next to me. I will have it on, and I will be cheering on the England lads who have prepped extremely hard and are going to do well this year.
They are. Having listened to them or like the Enter the Matrix and Stat Check stuff, like England are getting a lot of flack at the moment. Obviously, they have historically been a team that has taken an incredible roster of singles players and not delivered as a team.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've changed it up. They've got a team that they feel really works well as a team. They have prepped incredibly hard. They are not going in as one of the favourites in the slightest. They are definitely an underdog, and I think that will definitely help them out there. Whether they can pull it out of the bag, obviously we hope so. The time will tell. Can they? I mean, the main goal is just top 10, right? And then see where they go from there. Again, pairings happen, right? You might just get like quite often you mess up early on. Actually, it can end up having a positive effect, and you end up sneaking your way quite through. And that happened last year with a couple of the slightly less favoured teams. But I don't know how much you paid attention to lists and that sort of thing, so I don't know. So I'm just going to put you on the spot here. You're now going to tell me who's going to win the WTC. Starting with you, Harley. Who's going to win?
I'm not going to go boring and say France. That would be very generic. I'm not going to go boring and say America. Let's go with, it pains me to say it, but Germany.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to write this down just so we can bring it up next. So Harley's going for Germany. Ben Pierce, who are you going for?
I'm gonna stand by them. England.
You're going for England.
What I heard Tom say before he left on Sunday was, Ben, I'm going to 20-0 absolutely anybody that gets put in front of me. So I can do nothing with that, but expect them to win all the games.
Excellent. I like that. I mean, obviously, France are reigning champions. They've made a couple of interesting choices, though, which I'm not as hot on. Poland have gone quite for experience this time. So I'm going to go with Poland. I'm going to say Poland are going to. They won it 2 years ago. I'm going to go with Poland.
Sweden could do really well as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams, man. There's teams is now really there's so many good teams and anything can happen in a round. Like especially with 8-man teams, man. Obviously we're all rooting for England, so
England. Right.
England.
Anyway, so about 3-4 weeks ago, I announced that we were going to do a sweepstake, and we've had 21 people send me £2. Ooh, very exciting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to live draw this sweepstake now and see what you get. So each player will get a tier 1 or 2 team and will get a tier 3 or 4 team. And then the best tier 1, 2 team will get £21 and the best 2, 3, 4 team will get £21. So I'm just going to randomly draw these now. It's going to be really exciting for podcast listeners and all that sort of thing. Martin Dorr, you have got, sir, USA.
Oh, banging start.
Banging start. And you have got, for your tier 3, 4 team, Northern Ireland.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is there any spare tickets? Can I get in?
No.
Oh.
There's 21, and that splits perfectly in half. So, as usual, you're too late. So this is going to be even less. Ben, at least Ben's involved with this, right? Alex Chancellor, sir. You know what, Harley? If you want, Harley, you can have my ticket. Would you like my ticket?
Bosh, yes.
Excellent, cool, excellent. Cool. Alex Chancellor, you have got for your tier 1, tier 2 team, Netherlands. Okay. And your tier 3, 4 team is Switzerland.
Okay.
Don't know anything about them.
Give me United Nations for my tier 4 team. Mark and Ed to carry.
You want Ed?
Oh.
Right, Jack Chapman. Oh, here we go. Sweden.
Okay.
That's a good team. That's a good team.
Pretty good team. And tier 3, 4 team, China.
That's a good team to get for a tier 4.
Got a nice little draw
there. They're in England's pod, so
yeah. Hopefully, screw up. Tom McKay. Spain. Spain have made some interesting choices with their list this time. Obviously, we know them as a team that last year just deployed everyone on the line and just went first and ran at England and I think drew with them. So that's what. And your tier 3, 4 team, Tom, is Luxembourg. Ooh. Obviously, we worked with Luxembourg last year to not much effect, to be honest with you. They didn't have a good run last year, but hopefully they do better this time. We did scrim them this year, so hopefully they do well. And when I do my updates, I'll be letting everyone know how the old Luxembourgish are getting on. Right, we've got DG Main from the Discord. Your tier 1 or 2 team, Andy, is Austria.
Okay.
Crowd's gone wild. And the tier 3, 4 team is United Nations.
Oh!
Sorry, so they're looking pretty good. So that could be a bit of a
lineup.
They're an underdog.
No, not right. Aaron Wilson, living in America right now, 6++ fame. Tier 1, tier 2 team is New Zealand. Okay. No David Gaillard this year. And your tier 3, 4 team is Czech Republic.
Another England pod one, is that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Tier 4 is their China. Tier 2 is Malta. Tier 1's England, and then maybe tier 3 is Czech.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Max G, your tier 1, 2 team is Belgium.
Liam VSL.
There we are, riding on the back of Belgium. Let's see how they get on. Probably not going to. Actually, you don't really want a tier 2 team, do you? And Latvia is your tier 3, 4 team. So thank you for the £2, Max.
Robbed.
Yeah. Ben Pritchard. Ben Pritchard, sir. Your tier 1, 2 team is France. Oh. Obviously, they were the first team to bring a chef last year. I believe 3 teams have brought a chef this year. So
Wow.
trend is on the up. We'll be the first UKTC team to bring a chef, shall we? Oh, by the way, Harley, when I was being interviewed, I got asked about chefs, and I said they asked me who I thought the best chef was in 6++. I said I had absolutely no idea, but I reckoned you were quite good. Am I right or wrong?
If you're asking it, cooking up lists, I'm pretty shit at that.
Yeah.
Food,
But in terms of food,
depends what you want, really.
okay. So if
Not
it,
too bad.
yeah, not too bad. Okay, cool.
Not too
What?
bad.
Who would you have said? Who do you think's the best in 6++?
Oh God!
I was like, it's not Ed because he's just injecting himself at the moment.
He is supposed to be a pretty good cook, though.
Is
I
he?
heard he makes good eggs and bacon in the mornings.
Okay.
I reckon Adam.
Okay.
After last week being at a B&B with him, chefing up some bagels for the morning, I reckon.
Chefing up some bagels.
I reckon. I've got a sneaky suspicion he can cook.
Adam. Okay. What do you reckon, Ben?
Wait, I think he used to be a chef, actually.
Oh, well, I mean, that would
help, right?
That would help.
You know what? I reckon Jack Chapman. He looks
Jack
like
Chapman?
someone who could be
Yeah,
like sizzling up a wok or something. You know, you see the things flying in the air, and he's like chopping his spring onions midair.
I tell you, it's definitely not me. Definitely not me. I'll let you know. Anyway, sorry for that interval. Right, Ben Pritchard, your T34 team is Israel. Very exciting. Absolutely no idea anything about them. Right.
He got France though, so he's
got France, so he's happy. Dom Swallow, Hubris, my latest coaching mentee. Love Dom. Hopefully I can get you a good one here, but I'm not going to cheat. Hopefully I don't pull an amazing one. Let's find out. Oh, Canada. Canada, strong team.
Got Scarry, right?
They got Scarry, right? So, and Scarry just beats everyone, so who knows? And your tier 3, 4 team is Hungary. Okay. You know, I just realised there were going to be slightly more tier 3, 4 teams than tier 1, 2 teams.
Because there's one group.
Because there's 42 teams. There's 20 tier 1, 2 teams. And 22 tier 3, 4 teams.
Someone's getting shafted.
So someone's getting shafted here.
Or it might
it gives them a better chance of winning the 3, 4.
It might be better.
Well, actually, it technically actually makes no difference, right? Good. Excellent. Right. Glad we got that out of the way. Right. Aiden. Mind Goblins placed very highly at our last GT. Love Aiden. England. Sorry, Aiden.
Well, he's won it now, right?
Yeah.
England is going to win.
Just won't take him up. Tier 3, 14 is Slovakia. Slovakia have got Grey Knights, so unlucky. Then we have got Philip Gill. And Philip has got Germany. You guys are sat there going like, oh man, this is sad.
I don't think there's any.
Is there any
tier 1s left?
And your tier 3, 4 team is Slovenia, also notable for taking Grey Knights. Lewis Salter of Lords of War.
You can have your ticket back, Chris.
What a refund.
Denmark for Lewis. Denmark. And tier 3, 4 team is Wales. Coached by our very own Mr. Scrivo. Plastic Fork. Don't have a real name. Sorry. Well, I probably do somewhere. Norway.
Norway.
What I'm really enjoying is I keep looking at the viewer count, and it's somehow still at around 30. So all of you who just sat there watching me randomly say countries' names, thank you for watching. And your tier 2, 3 team, 3, 4 team is Greece. I think they're pretty good. I think I heard some people talking about how they quite like Greece, so maybe they could be the best 3, 4 team. Rob, Australia. There you are, Rob. You got your own country. What are the chances of that?
But as well, I feel
I think
that.
this year they're fighting to stay as a seed.
They have got not an standard roster, should we say, of lists. Tier 3, 4 team is Finland for Rob. Now we've got Mike Duff. Now, when he sent me the payment, Mike specifically said, "Please don't give me Malta." So let's see if he
There you
gets.
are, Mike.
Oh, they're
They
actually
are
still
still
in
in
there
here.
as well.
I genuinely am not.
Please.
I'm genuinely not making him get Malta, but I would laugh a lot if
Oh,
he
we
did get
want Malta now.
Mike gets Italy as
Oh.
his 1, 2, 3. No, I'm literally looking away from the box here. I'm just praying to all the gods that he gets Malta.
Malta are at seed 2, so no chance.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's boring, isn't it? You get Cyprus instead for your tier 3, 4. So thank you for the money. Our very own Paul James gets Scotland. There we go.
Not awful.
Scotland.
They've done a lot of prep. Played them last weekend at a WTC event. They are in good form.
So there you go. And Paul, your 3, 4 team is Romania.
Okay. Sounds like banging a 9-inch charge.
Jerry,
Sounds like his type of team.
Yeah.
winner of the award for travelling the furthest distance on our last event. He's coming to our south one as well. Jerry, flying over.
We love Jerry. What a guy.
What a hero. Jerry, you get Poland.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's nice. That is a nice one. And then 3, 4, Jerry is South Africa.
That's actually quite a good team.
Yeah. So Joe Tom. Now we've got a little chappy. Some of us know as Ben Pierce.
Whee!
So Ben, your choices. I hope you're really prepared for this. Are Malta, Ireland, or Thailand as your seed 1, 2 team. So, have you got any preferences here? I'm not going to.
I know nothing about
You know
any
nothing,
of
cool.
these. It doesn't feel good.
This is a team you're going to be devoutly following and hope win UK win WTC. Ireland.
Whee!
That's actually quite a good team.
I think that's the best.
Have you got any Irish blood in you?
No.
Okay. Cool.
No.
Good chat.
Sam Nash, Colin. They got a
That's a pretty
solid
good team.
Yeah.
And your tier 3, 4 team is Iceland.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I've got all of the lands. We'll take that.
You've got the lands.
I've got the lands.
Right. Am I missing a bit of paper here?
Oh god.
Maybe. Who knows? We'll count this up in a bit.
It's probably on the floor somewhere.
Tom Lohman. He's paying for this in dice, so sorry, Tom, in advance. You get Tom Malta.
Whee!
Hey, well done, Tom.
So if England lose to Malta now, we know.
We know he's thrown it. Absolutely. And then Tom also gets Bulgaria. Tom will love that because Tom loves the Bulgarians. We played them at an ITT 2 years ago and had a great time. And then we finally got Tim Page. I don't know how this has happened. I don't understand. No, I'm going to have to recount this up. So, Tim, you get Thailand, makers of the best food. And your seed 2 or 3, 4 team is Portugal. That's Gustavo.
You got Gustavo. He will smash people with guard. That's all you need.
There we go. Which leaves the Chris Harley experience with just
Chris's experience, not mine.
Chris's experience. I get Hong Kong as my 3, 4.
I think they're a new team, so they might be good.
They might be good, we know.
No one knows them.
And how many countries is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right, it's 41 countries. Aha! Found it. South Korea.
Yeah.
There
Good
we
luck,
go.
mate.
Feeling confident. Maybe the South Korean meta
Two shots are getting no money, so
is an incredible advanced one. So there you go. So if we win, Harley, you can have it, mate.
absolutely.
There we are. I will post it up on the Discord just because obviously most people probably aren't listening to this. But yeah, that's our really short show over and done with. It's been an absolute pleasure, boys. Thank you very much for joining me. We will be back over the next few days, but with WTC stuff and like mentioned, come over, join our Discord if you want to talk about WTC or anything. We've got like 850 people in that Discord. It's quite a happening place.
Busy place now.
It is a busy place. If you could like this video, if you're still watching, thank you so much. Because it just makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside. And if you want to comment and tell us how you don't want us to talk about ourselves at the beginning, or why don't we do timestamps, or why is our sound so bad, feel free. We love those comments, and we will always refer to them. But yeah, hopefully those of you doing the WTC draw will now have a little team just to follow. It makes it a bit of fun, right? Just that extra little bit. I know I will now be rooting for Hong Kong and South Korea with much glee. So thank you very much, everyone. And we will see you, next Tuesday. Tom will have returned from the WTC. He'll be
As the
back.
winner.
I'll be driving up to Scotland, so I won't be on the show, but Tom will be back, I assume, with Scrivo and others to share their WTC experiences. So it'll be an awesome episode next time. And hopefully Tom comes back with some form of medal as well. Who knows? See you later. Bye.